Yes. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thanks. The podcast.
Thanks
What's
for
your
being
podcast called?
theSteng Show.
To the Steng Show.
Thank you. You're one of the brave first souls to be here.
To ever exist.
That too.
Yeah. I've been around for a while, man.
You have. Tell our listeners what you've been up to. What do you do?
Oh, well, shit.
A lot of things, but
you're... Can I cuss?
Yeah.
Sweet. Shit. Right now, I was on tour in March during the big panic for the pandemic. I was on tour with Joe Jack from the Dead Milkmen, and we had toured all the way down the East Coast, and we were headed to South by Southwest, and we were crossing from Florida into Alabama when it finally, days of listening to NPR and friends being like, hey dude, maybe you should come home, texting me, and I'm like, what are you talking about, man? It's like, yeah, I think this is pretty serious. And so we were crossing on our way to Birmingham, Alabama, and we just kind of had a meltdown. And
how long did it take to get to the meltdown?
It's an interesting story because Joe's kind of a news hound. He listens to the news every day. And I don't normally listen to NPR, but I kind of let it happen, in the car, because we've been on 3 or 4 tours together. And we've never listened to NPR, we'll either just listen to music or have silence or whatever. And we just started listening to NPR because the pandemic seemed like it was getting serious. But then that was really anxiety inducing for me because I don't listen to the news, and the news gives me anxiety in general no matter what's going on. So that I think that was part of the build up. Joe and I are both somewhat hypochondriacs, and we both have anxiety as well. We're both anxious hypochondriac musicians. He's older. He's I think he's probably late 50s, early 60s or something.
Oh, wow.
So, that played a factor in the safety thing, because of the coronavirus apparently is, being reported worse for older people. And so, but yeah, we were literally during the drive from Tallahassee to Birmingham, we went back and forth all the way extremes. Okay, let's just cancel the show tonight and then see what's up tomorrow. It's okay. And then it's oh, Joe's coughs. It's maybe I should go to the hospital. I'm like, God. Dude, no. You're not getting trapped in Alabama. And then, and obviously he was just, not to say anything bad about Joe, because I had a lot of anxiety when I got home too about oh, it's my throat, But it was he was definitely starting to really panic. And then I'm a very empathetic person, so especially if I'm in a car with somebody, it's I'm completely feeding off their energy. And so I was just oh shit. And I started to go through these panics, and we on that road trip from Tallahassee to Birmingham, we went from back and forth from extremes so many times, let's just keep going. Let's just see, we're in New Orleans tomorrow. It's no, let's just get a hotel room and quarantine ourselves tonight. Oh, let's just do. And then finally it was we went through, my throat seized up because I have anxiety, and my throat seizes up when I have when I get into situations like that, which is not very often in life. I mean, it never happened to me this severely, actually, ever. And so we just went to a hotel room in Birmingham, canceled the show, and then the next morning he got on a plane to Philly. So anyways, to answer your first question, since then, I'm going to be definitely going off on tangents. So
no, that's good. Please. Well, wait. So, how long are you usually on the road? It
varies a lot. Some anywhere between 2 weeks to a month, usually, at a time. And then there's seasons where I tour more. When I'm doing a lot of tours, like spring and fall, you know. But anyway, so I came home and I have been just working construction or remodeling since then. And then I've also been doing some music gigs and stuff. Like I've done like a couple somebody asked me to do a song for a graduation, and somebody
Graduation, that song of yours.
Oh yeah, I had performed that for a Kent State graduation, and then you know, just like doing, and then working on different projects, music projects, and doing. I have a Patreon, so I do like stuff for that, and I've actually been really creatively inspired with that. So just working on houses for other people, working on my house, trying to get that finished, that I'm remodeling, and then music, and then of course, finally finishing the short film that you and I shot.
I really wanted to talk about this. I'm so excited because you know better than I, but how long was that in the oven?
I was trying to think. I think it was
a couple of years.
Was it October?
Right?
When it was in October when we shot it? Like, I think it's been 2.5 years, maybe.
Yeah, and I remember too because I had just loaded up on a bunch of new gear. Mm-hmm. So I had like, the new Sony camera, which I'm still rocking. But I was like, yeah, we can shoot 4K. Woo, this is like, you know, this was like.
Is that all outdated now?
It's still 4K, yeah. But anyway, so I got to like test all this gear out on your inspired, written and directed short film.
Thank you.
So that was super fun. And then for our listeners, you know, we shot it, and we're still working. We're still doing our other creative projects. We come to learn that this audio, or I should say, you came to learn that the audio was not as desirable as we thought it was going into the edit on that.
Right, and I had no experience with, you know, I have plenty of audio editing experience, but I had no experience with live. You don't even know what it's called. What do you call it when you? What's the technical term for?
Oh, it's like ADR, right?
ADR.
Yeah.
I had no experience with editing ADR to make it sound good, and I thought that I was just, because of my inexperience, that it was not working. But so then I was like watching YouTube videos and like putting all these filters on it and doing everything, like put so much work into it. I swear I worked on it for months and months and months, trying to get the audio, and I was like, wait, this is just way too noisy. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Like, I was like, I had to show it. I like sent the video to like 6 of my filmmaking friends, and they're like, oh yeah, you have to reshoot the audio.
It's like, yep, that's noisy.
It's like, oh, I wish I would have got it done a year ago if I would have known that.
Yeah. We honestly, I didn't know, because I think we handed the SD cards off, and I mean, I think we shot it too, like right before you were either going on tour or you're starting a project. So we knew that we were going to table it for a few months. And by the time we opened the files up, it was just like, oh shit. Like, it's one of those classic, like, yeah, we'll fix it in post. There's a filter for that.
Yeah. I'm always that way. I'm like, oh, post. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it in post. And we did, though.
You did. Well, and you say we, but it was you. And
well, awesome. I had to get the actors to send me their stuff, and you know, yeah, I've edited music videos before, but I've never actually done. This is my first short that I've ever, you know, like edited, and so it took me a little longer. And also, I'm a sloppy editor. I'm not like people who edit all the time will probably go into my Premiere files and be like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
That's the way I feel about my timelines too. I feel like this strange need to like justify it in some way, but that's cool.
I like podcasts because there's no rules. You can like look right at the camera.
It is fun. You can really drive a point home.
Yeah, I'm looking right at you.
This is actually really fun for me to have you on the show, because as I was telling you off camera, but your performance history is so impressive. Like, you're talking about touring and stuff. You're a few years older than me, but I actually grew up on your music. You know, we kind of hail from this beatbox sort of youth generation.
I recorded I recorded my first demo that I released publicly at the Beatbox, mostly.
Yeah, and I remember, I feel like I heard that across editing booths, like,
yeah, you probably did.
That's the sound I make, like that song. Yeah,
Totally.
if that was one of them. So,
yeah, that was definitely on that.
yeah. So anyway, I've been listening to your music forever. I've been like a big fan of yours, but you're also just my friend, and like we've worked on some projects together that I tell people.
Been a few now.
Yeah, we've done a couple of music videos. I know we keep talking about, like, I want to do some stuff for your new.
Oh yeah,
releases.
Let's do that.
Like, working with you is like really fun because you'll just say, "Hey, show up at this time at this place with camera. We don't need a whole lot of lights, and we're just gonna rip it for like 2 hours," And then I'm always just amazed at your on the fly sort of direction and creative ability to just.
It's just because
take us on this.
It's because I'm a total spaz. It's not like it's any sort of trick or thing I learned. It's because I'm a complete spaz.
Well, I like that. I like that. And I actually, it makes working on a set with you really fun. It doesn't feel like a set. It just feels like an extension of real life.
I want people to have fun. I always want people to have fun when they're working with me. So that makes me happy.
That's good. There's like a little bit of a delay on the release of these. So I suspect that when people hear this podcast, you may have already premiered the short film.
Oh, but we can try.
We actually could try. When is it happening?
Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's not gonna happen, huh?
No, maybe it could. Maybe it could.
This Friday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday? Yeah, do it.
This Friday, my friends, Moody Black, one of my favorite bands that I've gone on tours with, is on a record label called Fake 4, and it's probably the coolest record label that exists right now. It's like a bunch of the old school, like, underground, like, or Anacon, like, hip-hop artists and stuff, like, gravitated towards there, and even, like, just, and then but they also do, like, indie, like, folk punk and pop, and, like, me, I love a mix of different kinds of music, and it's just a great record label, Fake 4, and they have a Twitch. They've been doing these Friday concerts since the pandemic, and Moody Black's taking over this coming Friday, June 26th, 5:30 p.m., and they asked me to be a part of it, and it's a horror-themed performance, and everybody else is doing live performances, but I'm premiering our short, Take the Worm, which is like a horror/comedy short that Luke shot, and I wrote and directed, edited, and starred in. Yeah. And I'm really excited about it. So if this podcast comes out before then,
you're giving me the impetus. Yes.
If it does, then you should go.
I don't want to. Oh,
here, I'll give you different cuts. Tomorrow, on June 20, okay, the day after tomorrow, on June 20, you can use any of those.
That's perfect. This is fun, man. You're helping me break in the podcast, dude.
Mm-hmm.
There is.
Yeah, this is cool.
There is some.
This is a very
curve.
Comfortable podcast area. You got that tiger over there that you have.
That's right.
Chained up with the. Diamonds, or why do you have diamonds all over that tiger? I don't know. And then you've got this huge fish tank that takes up a whole wall over here.
Don't tell them about the vault.
Well, obviously nobody's gonna break into that.
No, I don't think they would.
That's crazy that you would do this. Also, that we're in 5 stories underground in this like bunker.
That's what I was.
Really weird.
Well, we were talking about that off camera,
and you blindfolded me to get here.
That's right. Yeah,
that was freaky.
I didn't know. It was a little weird.
You were working on something this crazy. You got some weird shit going on here, and I'm over here in this jungle right now. Like, look at this. This is like a tropical paradise back here.
That's wonderful.
How did you get this whole jungle here?
We talked to some people in upper management, and
wait, it's just turned into space. I'm in space now.
That's fantastic.
How did you do?
That's
You don't even know what you're doing. How are you doing this?
It's magic.
This is crazy.
It's magic.
Yeah, well, here's to magic, man.
Cheers. Yeah, I want to cheers again. That's great.
Oh, you're onto the claw now.
I'm onto the claw, yeah. These are my two favorite things. I've been drinking Beatnik Sours from Exile. Sour. Shout out to Exile. Out of Des Moines.
Future sponsor?
Could be a future sponsor. They're great. It's like all I want to drink. It's local. It's Iowa. Mm-hmm. It's American.
Mm-hmm. Iowa is in America.
True. This is
the North America.
See, my hope would be that maybe someone listens to this while they're like patching some drywall.
You mean by patching drywall? You mean? I know what you mean by patching.
You know what? Yeah.
We'll keep that on the down.
Yeah, right. You know that I know that you know.
We're not gonna tell the inner listeners too much about that. You know, you if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Oh, I haven't had this much fun yet on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is so good. Dude, yeah. I mean,
I bring the fun, man.
You really do. This is fun.
I believe everybody's worldview is right. Because
Amen.
You shape your world. You think something. That's how your world is. There's nothing I can do to change that. You know? So...
Dude, that's super liberating. It's kind of just like there's that White Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come as you are. We were just talking about Kurt Cobain on the last podcast, but that's probably going to come out after this one now because we're going to edit this one for an early release.
Hey, wait, cut that part out and put this in. I have a feeling on your next podcast you're going to talk about Kurt Cobain. Just call me crazy.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
Actually, could you reverse this part? There's people that are going to be in quarantines until the end of 2020, you know? Like, they'll have plenty of time to reverse podcasts.
That's so crazy. Are you getting the unemployment gravy train?
Yeah, a little. Yeah. I have reduced employment now because of... I did have unemployment from the cider house, which I also bartend at. Yeah. But now it's reduced because I started working there again last week. So getting a little of that.
It's good. It helps, man. I was like super overdue. Surprise, I filed bankruptcy. So it was just like I did that, was broke and out of work basically for several months while I like sold like some key things and just kind of hustled. I mean, it's Fairfield, so it's not like you're actually going to go hungry.
Maybe. You sold some keys? Keys. Damn, that's like, this is like Miami.
Welcome to Miami. Yeah, no, I like sold a couple of rugs, a fucking lamp, and then I don't know. There's still plenty of stuff, I guess. Thankfully.
Are you trying to sell me something right now?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I definitely want to keep the sharks over there and the little tank that they have. That's important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're gonna sell the tank, you have to get rid of the sharks because where are the sharks going to go?
It's a package deal is kind of what it comes down to.
Or either that or you got to sell the sharks first.
That's real good. Did you watch Tiger King?
No. I don't know anything about it.
Do you regret it? You haven't seen it.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's just...
Is it like Lion King, but part 2?
You hit the nail on the head, man. It's incredible. Yeah.
Is it?
Baskin Robbins. Or what's it? Carol Robbins.
Burnett?
Baskins.
Robin Baskins.
She murdered her husband. Everyone knows this.
What? I didn't know this. Who is this?
I don't know. She fed him to a tiger or something. There's a huge tiger. I don't know, man. You gotta just watch it. It's on Netflix. All right. Do you Netflix and chill, or what do you do?
I've been actually. You know what? It's out tonight. That I'm totally gonna watch the Eric Andre stand-up comedy special that came out today.
Oh,
super psyched about it.
Really?
Eric Andre is one of my favorites. So
cool.
I didn't have Netflix for a while because I thought it was kind of sucking. So I just recently got it again. Actually, I got it pretty much because I wanted to watch the Eric Andre thing. Actually, you know what I have is I pay for Destination Unknown, which is
Not familiar with it.
It's a travel channel thing that's all ghost shows pretty much. It's all fucking ghost shows, and it's like demons and ghosts and like, you know, it's weird. It's like the Travel Channel is all ghost shows now. It's like travel ghosts. It's a weird thing. It's like MTV. You know when MTV stopped showing music videos and then they were just like all weird like skit shows and whatever.
Yeah.
And reality shows. Now the Travel Channel for years has been nothing but ghost hunter and ghost haunted house shows and demon hunter shows. How that has to do with travel, I don't really know. I guess there are places in the world, but I don't know if you can really allowed to travel to these people's houses. But anyways, I love it because I love fucking ghost shows.
Dude, I like that shit too, and I feel like I haven't seen enough of it.
Dude, you can subscribe to Destination Unknown. It's the shit. You
Really?
can veg out forever.
Is it like...
It's like peak time for ghost shows in the world right now. Like everybody, it's like, I don't know how. I don't even know anybody besides me that is into that. I mean, you said that's cool that you are, because I'm like, I tell people I'm into ghost shows because that's pretty much, I like watch all the time, and then people are like, oh, cool. I'm like, yeah, I love that shit. And they're like, yeah, cool. Anyways, and I'm just like, but like right now is peak time for that shit. There's like so many fucking ghost hunter, like haunted house, like ghost hunting teams. Like there's just, it's crazy to think about how many ghost hunters there are in the world right now.
If I'm ever in a hotel by myself or something, I'll flip through the local cable access or whatever, and that's the shit that I really like.
Oh,
to
the
watch.
cable access.
Yeah, well, no, like whatever it is, I'll flip through and I'll hit, you know, if it's on History Channel or whatever shit.
History also does a lot of the ghost hunting.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I was like into Ancient Aliens big time for a little while. Someone told me that there's like some new episodes of that now, and maybe I should really get myself educated. I say someone, but it was my mom. She was like, you gotta watch this, you gotta understand the truth.
Well, your mom sounds cool.
She is. I'm lucky to have her.
Shout out Luke's mom. This one's for you. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is going pretty good. I think this is a good podcast.
You're kind of expanding my mind in terms of what is possible on a podcast.
Well, I did dose you.
Wait, how long has it been? I'm actually, no, that's fun. Oh, you just set me up for that. That's great. I put on my friend's watch and it doesn't actually tell the time. It just says a couple of minutes towards midnight. You might dig this. It says ABBA Japan Tour 1980.
Whoa!
And instead of numbers, it has letters of all the stagehands and people that helped on the tour. Wow. This shit is like some killer shit, man.
Whoa, I love ABBA.
Yeah,
I pretty much left like ABBA Gold in my car for like a year, and that was like all I listened to.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's gold.
Just recently, it is gold. It's so dope. Every song on that album. I guess the only song sometimes I skip is Fernando. Like that song gets a little annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually really wish we could smoke cigarettes in here. I'm like,
you heard me cough and it made you want to smoke cigarettes.
I'm like,
you got a problem, man.
Sounds so good right now.
I want to cough.
Did you see that meme too? It was like, I used to cough to hide a fart. Now I fart to cover a cough.
No.
For the COVID world that we live in now.
Oh, the COVID.
Yeah, if you cough, it's like taboo.
My chiropractor says. So right now I'm in a super hardcore pain in my lower back because my chiropractor won't do the one move that fixes me because it puts his face too close to my face. Even though he's wearing a mask and a mask on top of the mask, he's like, and here I am like in total fucking pain, like such pain that I have to drink every day to even deal with it. And I know he can fix it by just doing this one move where he leans on me. And he won't do it. And he says, oh, we don't do that now because of the COVID. And he says it like in like a northern kind of like northern, like, I don't know, he must be from Minnesota or Wisconsin or something. And then and I get I'll be at home and I'll just be like miserable, like I'll like stand up like oh God, I'm like because of the COVID. And I get angry. I think about it. I don't really get angry. I don't get angry much.
Dude, back pain's the worst. I've had it like once or twice before. Not severely. Not like I couldn't get out of bed, but I could imagine like how a couple notches up it would have been really.
You know, I don't mind pain. Pain is all right to a certain degree, especially if it's like muscle or bone pain or whatever. It's like at least you know it's not gonna kill you. To me, that's like if you have a pain, it's like, you know, like your heart or like your internal organs or something, and you're like, ugh, I could die.
Right.
But if it's just like your bones or your muscles, no matter how bad it hurts, which can drive you crazy, at least you know it's not going to kill you. Unless it forces you to kill yourself.
Yeah, we hope not. Knock on wood.
Can you knock on wood to not kill yourself? I don't know. I'm doing that now. I don't want to kill myself. Just for everybody out there in TV land, I really like life. I just have a really dark sense of humor.
I appreciate that.
I enjoy the hell out of life, and I hope none of you want to kill yourselves either, because, you know, there's a lot the world has to offer you out there, you know. There's somebody out there, probably right now, just around the corner, you're going to run into them, and you're going to fall in love, and you're going to have such a good time, and then eventually it'll decay, and you know, you'll become estranged. And wait a minute, this isn't working. Sorry, I'm trying to.
I liked that.
I hope it didn't inspire anybody.
No, I think
kill themselves.
No. I think you were actually helping a lot of people. There is a beauty in humor like that. That's good. Yeah. I think, you know, if you kind of straddle.
Humor's canceled, man.
Oh, it's super canceled, dude. People
you can't have humor anymore.
Dude, woke people figured that shit out, dude.
I'm woke, no jokes. No jokes, I'm woke.
Yeah. These sensitive ears. You can't. Don't hurt these ears.
How you feeling?
I think I'm gonna hit that bathroom.
All right. Well, maybe I'll have a cigarette.
And then I'll probably join you, and then we'll come right back
for part 2.
I feel like we could splice in, you know, that sort of like, you know, like little interlude sort of thing, you know?
Oh, here, I can hear it coming in. Hell yeah.
Wow. Show business.
Showbiz, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Are you still recording?
I never stopped, actually.
Wow.
We probably took like a 15-minute break or something like that.
Cool.
You know what? You know how
Fix
it is.
Fix it in post.
Yeah. You see the crescent moon, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Maybe a bathroom break.
Should we celebrate the second half by doing that fireball shot?
We should. I wish I had 2 of them, but what can we pour it into?
I could just yeah, that's fine.
Or we could just I want to do it I want to do it
to our lips.
I want to do it simultaneous though.
All right,
let's do that.
True.
The true.
What episode is this?
I think this will be 4, maybe 5.
Episode 4? I need to get up on this. I didn't know you were cranking them out like that.
Dude, I'm trying to take the hill.
Yeah. Well, to the Steng Show.
Cheers, my brother.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, really honored. Out of the bottle, dude. I don't know if I did a shot like that since I was in high school.
Cinnamon. All right. I'm ready. What's next?
Yeah. What? Dude, have you seen 1917? Oh, you haven't watched this? Dude. See, you're a filmmaker, so you would really enjoy.
I want to be.
It's World War I, so it's kind of gnarly. But they'll go from like arguing about who's going first, blah, 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 in the trenches, all the way through those trenches to the front lines, past the front lines into enemy territory. And before you know it, 15 minutes went by and it was one single shot. God, like what? They built this set like that.
Whoa.
It's insane. It's got some really incredible symbolism and really good set design. And, the dude won Best Cinematography, and I think you'd like this movie a lot.
Is it on something right now?
Go to Family Video. Go to your local movie rental store.
Yeah.
Get it on DVD or Blu-ray.
When I was on tour, actually, Family Video called me because I hadn't been in there for a while.
They're like, we want to sponsor you.
They were like, we noticed you haven't been in for a while. Well, we got a free video rental for you. I'm like, that's pretty nice. That's a good weird phone call to get while you're on tour. Your local video store calls you and is like, yeah, come on in. We miss you.
They're great. Also, most of their revenue right now is CBD oil, and now they have like the water dispensing ice machine.
Oh yeah, I use that all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, of course.
Why? Of course.
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
It's right down the street from me.
Oh, that's true.
And then it's either that or everybody's. And
are you the kind of guy that's doing that at like 3 a.m. or are you?
Well, it depends. I don't have any routine or regularity in my life. It could be, whenever.
Right.
But
somehow the convenience of that, it just feels a little alienating the way it's it's right on Burlington. Everyone's just like, oh, there's Bob just filling up.
That's why I like to like dress up really nice when I go to it. Look really hot, and then I'll just be like, getting and bending over to get this ice. Yeah,
that's good.
Flex a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good place to show off.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
See, maybe there's some intimidation too that you walk up to those fucking machines and you have to swipe your card a certain way and it doesn't accept it. And then it's like you feel like an idiot because you're like holding up the line. You're like pressing the wrong button.
You've ever seen a line there? I've never seen a line there. I've always been the only person there.
This is the bee's knees, apparently. This is
this ice and this water. It's good. Good ice and water.
But no one's renting movies anymore, apparently.
I just buy them. That's why I go to Family Video. I just buy the DVDs. I'll be like, I look for all the stuff that's for sale. I'm like, oh yeah, $5, whatever. I just put a post on Facebook that I wanted some tube TVs because I knew that nobody else wanted their tube TVs. And so my friends actually, this was the first trip I took during the pandemic outside of Fairfield. I went to East Moline. My friends were like, yeah, we got like 6 TVs. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, come on over and get them. And I was like, okay. And I went and they loaded me up with TVs, and I was like, this is sweet. But yeah, I'm just a fetish of mine. I like images, and I'll like just have them playing in the background while I'm like listening to music and doing stuff too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I get a real kick out of that.
But also VHSs were made to be on tube TVs. You ever notice that? You ever tried to watch a VHS on a flat screen? It sucks. Yeah. It's like all dark and doesn't.
No, it doesn't work at all. In fact, you kind of want that little bit of crop that like one of those tube TVs kind of gives you. A little distortion in the
different crop, different color.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do a floor or a wall out of nothing but VHS tapes. I know that's not an original idea.
Is it?
But
I've never seen that.
I don't know, but like if you did it, I just think it would be a real spectacle.
Have you ever seen the Jerry Maguire store?
No.
I think it's in LA or something. I can't remember. But there was apparently so many copies of Jerry Maguire made on VHS and DVD or whatever that like they just made a whole rental store. It's all Jerry Maguire. That's all it is. It's just shelves and shelves of Jerry Maguire.
That's amazing. And they're probably just, there's probably, different prints of it, I'm sure. Just slightly different cover art. Ever so slightly.
I love shit like that. I'm really into media, physical media, like, because it's so... I like the fact that it's almost disposable these days, and so cheap. Yeah. And so you can just be like out on the road where like when I was a kid, like CDs cost $15 or whatever, And now it's like you go and you're like, oh, I ran out of stuff to listen to in the car. I have a Jetta with a 6-disc CD changer. So I'm just like, oh shit, go spend like 30, 40 bucks and I have a whole new collection of CDs, you know? So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. And then same with VHS. You're just like, oh, I have a whole new VHS collection from Goodwill for 10 bucks. Like, you know, everything was 50 cents.
Yeah, one of the things I actually, funnily enough, noticed the most was that when the pandemic hit, they closed all the Goodwills. And I realized that was the thing that I actually did. I didn't realize how much I did it until it stopped. And then I was like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
I used to hit like the Iowa City one a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
It relaxed me. They have a really nice electronics section.
Mm-hmm.
The collector store, I know you love that store.
Oh yeah, that place is kind of crazy.
Dude, it's so good. Yeah. It's like bursting at the seams.
I know.
I keep telling myself.
Some of it's junk though. I bought some stuff there that just didn't work.
It didn't work? Yeah. I've been meaning.
And then also he won't sell you stuff sometimes. You'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take these. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to sell that. Like,
I haven't encountered that yet, but
it's almost every time for me.
That's hilarious. Well, I feel like if you're a thrifter or like this crafty or whatever, you can spot another one when someone might be doing exactly what you're trying to do, but at your store, cherry picking your cool shit. And then they're like,
once again, I'm not very much of a cherry picker. I buy a lot of crap. Maybe it's just because I'm cool. People are like, oh, that guy's cool. Maybe I shouldn't sell that so I can be cool like him and have this stuff.
Dude, I want to get a Nintendo 64 again.
I've been thinking about that. Thinking about getting some old school.
That still is my favorite system, N64. Smash Bros, Zelda. See, I'm not a gamer, but there's a certain nostalgia to that N64. Maybe how I grew up, it was always in the background. Even house parties, dude. Like, there was always a TV kind of running that, you know.
I mean, I literally grew up on Atari and first generation Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then like Sega came out, the first Sega Genesis came out when I was in high school. And so, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff. And I got a Super Nintendo was the last system I got when I was in college. I got a Super Nintendo. But I only got like 4 games for it. And they were like the most ridiculous games. They were like Clay Fighter. Yeah, Clay Fighter was like Street Fighter but with like clay people. And then Populous, which was like I missed this game. It was like a Sim City, but on a Super Nintendo. So it was really limited, you know, and it was like the most generic Sims game ever. It was called Populous.
Populous.
It was so dope. And yeah, I'm a super big fan of generic stuff because it's like boiled down to its essence. You know?
Yeah. I appreciate that too. I like you can't show me a video game. I don't know what kids are playing these days with the 50 buttons and it's virtual reality and you
gotta put the one thing up your ass.
You're right, in the ears and the
tubes up the nose. Like liquid goes in. Right. That's kind of fucked up. To me, I think that's going a little bit too far.
It's too far. Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. It's like I always feel like a piece of shit.
Me too.
If I play...
Oh, wait, in general? Oh, no, sorry. Wait, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Where are you going?
I love this. No, I just like, if I play video games for more than a couple hours and if I'm not sick with the COVID or something, then I just actually feel really like I should be doing something. I should be like mulching my garden or I don't know what. I feel guilty. Like there's some guilt. I wonder if I should eat some of that pizza.
Yeah, go for it.
I almost want to. I don't know. At a certain point, you just drink beer, and then you're just like, I don't know. Man.
If I hadn't already made myself a burger before this, I would join you. But I encourage you to have some pizza.
Speaking of burgers, and you telling me that you're working at Cider House again, dude, Smokehouse Burger.
Oh yeah.
I thought I died and went to heaven knowing that shit was available again. I hadn't had it for like over a year. I sat down, So good, dude. That
My favorite
blue
is
cheese,
just a
man.
straight up cheeseburger.
Really? That's it? You wouldn't take the blue cheese over the cheddar?
I'll take it. I like it all. I mean, I'll eat anything. I literally will eat anything.
Yeah, but just a straight up classic is what you're after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, get some pizza, man. Get some pizza.
You think I should get? Yeah, I feel like if I don't eat pizza on the podcast, it's gonna be a real disappointment to our viewers at home.
I can't fit anything else in me besides beer.
It's me a pizza too.
Is it good pizza?
You're
just gonna gloss over the whole kidnapping thing.
Oh, yeah. I just maybe.
Oh, it's fine.
Maybe, yeah, no. The time.
We'll talk about it some other time.
Off camera.
Off
maybe,
camera. Yeah.
Cool. I gotta watch my chewing in front of this microphone. People are gonna unfriend me and unfollow me. So when are you going back on tour? You don't know. Nobody knows.
Maybe never.
Do you miss it?
Yeah. I mean, okay. So when I first started, when I started making music, I did it because I wanted to make songs. I wanted to write. I wanted to create and hear things that I wasn't hearing out there. So to me, like, my first love of music is writing, creating, recording, being able to listen to the stuff that you made. And at first I was not really into performing. I thought it was just more of a chore, something that you had to do to help promote your album or whatever. And I was really bad back then. And because of that, I thought it was more of a chore. And then I got really into it. I started realizing how awesome it is to perform. Like, the song changes, like, no matter how many times you play it, it's the same song, and it starts to take on new life every time you perform it. It might be completely different from one night to the next. And then also I started getting into this entertainer aspect of the whole thing. That's one of my favorite parts, of performing. It's just really cathartic, and it feels good to be able to, like, let people, or create a space for people to, like, let go and relax and have fun and do their thing. And I've done it a lot. And I've reached a lot of heights. I've played, like, a lot of crazy shows, and, like, I've done a lot in music that, like, I've pretty much done everything. I don't think there's anything I need to prove to myself anymore in music. I can't stop writing songs. Like, that's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
But performing, I feel like I'm ready to, like, I'm really into this break, actually. I feel like there's gonna be an evolution to how I approach performing again in the future, and I don't know, have any idea what it's gonna be. I mean, like, I literally have been thinking about just doing something crazy, like just being a regular, like, at a restaurant, like, being, like, just a dinner singer or something like that. You know?
Like the featured.
Like, kind of, like, want to just, like, go be at, like, a bar and, like, sing Frank Sinatra songs or something. Like, that's the type of shit that I think is on my horizon for performing. Like,
I'd go visit that restaurant.
Yeah, and like, I like the idea that you don't, like, people are just, like, eating and drinking, and I can just, like, walk around and just kind of, like, sing,
kind of schmooze and sing.
Yeah,
like, right.
I like that non-commitment. You don't have, everybody doesn't have to pay attention to you type thing. I don't know. I like the humility in performing. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that messes up most performers. Is most performers, it's for them, it's an ego thing. It feels like, it's like, look at me, like, this is, I need attention, whatever. And I don't feel that way at all. I feel like think of it the same way as I think of waiting tables or bartending or anything. Like, I just think of it as, like, a job. I like to do a good job, If I'm working, I like to do a good job. And so for me, it's like there's a lot of humility involved in performing, like you're serving, like, and I think in America, especially these days, it's really, really hard to separate the ego of performance, you know, and like the selfishness of it. Like, to me, it's just like it goes over everybody's heads. Like, performers are like, most performers are just like egomaniacs, you know, and it's just like self-serving. And, you know, luckily a lot of them write good songs, or else somebody's writing good songs for them and they're good at performing them. But to me, like, I love to be down in the trenches. That is one thing I do miss about touring. I love about touring is, like, I've played shows for like hundreds and thousands of people before, and it's easy. If you have that many people there, they want to fucking rock out. You know, it's always easy. Like, every time I've done it, at least, you know, because it's like, it's just like super easy to sway a big crowd. In my opinion, in my experience. I mean, that's just my experience. Like, I love small ass crowds. I love between 30 to 100 people. Like, that's my favorite. Even like 30 to 75 is probably my favorite, because it's more intimate and you can, like, you know, and it's really there. You're down there in the trenches. You're testing your metal. Yeah. You're like really just like, okay, like, I'm kind of I love challenges, and I'm kind of a glutton for punishment, and I love like entering a room and having it be like something. This is gonna be a challenge tonight. Everything's off. Like, everything's fucked up. Like, something's fucked up here, something's fucked up there. And then you're the performer, so you have to carry it, you know?
Like, wrangle them in almost. Say you got a couple in the off to the side, they're making out or something. Someone's having an argument over here, and the next person's just trying to get a drink and can barely, you know, the bartender can't hear him because so-and-so's playing, you know, whatever it is. Like, the whole full spectrum. I'm sure you've seen it all on tour.
I like to be of use. You know, that's like, I'm not a religious person, but if I ever pray, I pray to be of use. I like to be useful, and in all the ways, in everything in life, you know? So to me, being an entertainer is pretty obvious what usefulness you're providing, you know? You're plugging yourself in. You're doing a job. And if you like to do a good job, then it's pretty self-explanatory, you know? I like to do a good job. When I work on houses, I like to do a good job. I like people to be happy. When I wait tables, I like people to be happy. When I serve drinks, you know, I want them to have a good time, you know? Not at complete sacrifice to myself. I also want to entertain myself and enjoy myself, and, you know? But luckily to me, to feel useful is a huge part of enjoying myself in life. So to me, if I feel like people are having a good time, then I feel useful, you know? And also a challenge, you know? If it becomes, I think that's one of the best things about shows is they're such wild cards. Every show is so different from night to night. Like, on tour, you could have the worst show in the world one night and the best show in the world the next night. You could have, every show is just full of so many challenges. Like, there's so many things that are going on, you know, and it's like different people in a different city that you're dealing with every night. So that part is like the challenge part, and I like that, because it's like, it's almost like you're I don't know, it's like you've been hired to go into kind of like, I feel like sometimes like it's like you're Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction. It's like the cleaner or something, you know? You're just like, all right, you come into a place and it's a fucking mess, and like, I gotta fucking clean this shit up, you know? It's like, you know, but it's more fun because you're not dealing with dead bodies and crime. You're just dealing with entertainment.
I've been to a lot of your shows, and they're awesome. And I picture myself on that stage, which terrifies me in so many ways. Like, this is a stage, but not like that. Not like that. That shit's live. That's 100 people live. Those are people turning their backs on you. It's visual. You know, I don't know if you've dealt with hecklers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Of course.
There's people that are dancing. Yeah, do it again, taking selfies with you. Want your want your autograph and all that stuff. And just the full spectrum of that. And you also touched on it earlier. I think, this is what I wanted to say earlier. Like, we've all seen the performer. It's like, oh, it's about me, it's about me, it's about me. Like, this obnoxious, loud, very self-serving kind of performer. And then there's the performer that, like, threads artfully through all of the different people that are in the room.
So which one am I?
The latter, obviously.
Oh,
we
cool.
wouldn't be talking.
I thought you were getting ready to diss me.
No.
I'm just kidding. I know I'm awesome.
I started eating that pizza. I'm getting a little more sentimental, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the beer making me want to just go deeper or something, but yeah. Also, by the way, you already knew this, but our viewers didn't. I've got your album, The Honey, here, which I freaking love this album so much.
Thank you.
Tell me about this album.
Well, that was my first official album. Like, that was the first album that I actually put out. That was like, I was like, this is the first Coolzey album. Yeah. And it was recorded in like 2009, 8. Well, actually, it was recorded over a couple of years, like 2007, 8, 9, and released in January of 2010. And before that, I had put out a couple of EPs, and they were all like straight up hip hop. And this was the album where I was like, it just became like its own thing. It's got like a country song on it. I mean, it's mostly hip hop, but it's got like a pop, like a Beck type pop song on it and a country song. And you can tell by looking at the cover, it was like, it's a party. It was like, it was a party. Like, it was Iowa City. It was all my friends, like all the people I was playing music with there's just like a whole community of people on that album, Iowa City people. And then also the people that I was on tour with. It's got Sadat X from Brand Nubian and Rashawn Ahmad from Crown City Rockers and people that I had been touring with. And I'd just bring them through the studio and when we'd play Iowa City. And yeah, I don't know. I still like it.
One of my favorite songs, I don't know if we're going off the deep end. What is it? The Honey.
Uh-huh.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, the one, Schaefer the Dark Lord?
Yeah, dude. You guys were both rapping that in, it was like a one take sort of thing off of your iPhone or something in the car.
Oh, yeah. That was practicing for shows.
Yeah. Still one of my favorite songs you've written.
Thank you. I think it's one of my favorite beats I've ever made.
Really?
I love that beat. That song starts off by saying, I will return, I'll come back for the honey and you. And to me, I realized that I don't believe in a lot, but I tend to think that reincarnation is probably true. And I realized that it kind of like made sense to me. Sometimes things make sense to me in retrospect, that the honey is actually about coming back to Earth to be reincarnated, to go through all the shit again, like to go through the pain and the pleasure and the love and the hate and all of it. Because I'm a big believer that people are always like, oh, I only want the good stuff. You know, I only want pleasure. I only want light. I only want this. And I'm like, not about that. I'm like super into both the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. I think when we transcend our bodies, we realize that it was all the dope shit. It was all the honey, like all of it. The most horrible shit that happened to us, as well as the most euphoric stuff that happened to us, was all worthwhile. And then it says, I'll come back for the honey and you. And to me, that's something that's really important to me, is you. There's a book by Martin Buber called I and Thou, or I and You, and I'm a huge believer that we're here on the earth to relate to people. Like, because we're all, I'm pretty sure that we're all one, and, all that kind of stuff. And so out here, we're separated. This is the only chance that we have to be separated and see ourselves from different perspectives. So it's I and you as we're relating to each other because we're separated. And so the honey is the world, and you and I live in it. And I'll come back for that because, it's fun to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sorry to get deep, but I always have to get deep and philosophical on every podcast.
Good. So, honestly, I really appreciate that.
And I interrupted you, and I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think I did that to you too. I'm still learning this fucking podcasting business, but it's actually really nice to hear your thoughts. What comes first, the lyrics or the beats?
Oh, it's always different.
It changes sometimes.
It's always different. Often it'll just come to me, like sometimes in a dream. A lot of songs come to me in dreams. I'm a big believer in not trying to write a song. I think that it's more about creating, about keeping yourself open, like opening a channel. And not to get too crazy or whatever, but like, I really feel like I don't write songs. I feel like they just come to me. If I do write a beat first, beats are different because like beats are it's like jamming almost for me, like when I make a beat on the MPC or whatever, it's like I'll be listening to, like when I make beats, I'll just be like listening to records sometimes, and I'll just have it hooked up to the MPC, and then I'll just be like, oh wait, and I'll just like capture stuff, and then I'll just be like chilling out listening to records, capturing stuff, and then I'll be like, then I'll sit down and I'll like take a couple of those samples, chop them up, then I'll have a beat. And sometimes I'll have that beat for years, and I'll just be like jamming out to it. And I don't really even think about writing any lyrics to it, because I'm just enjoying the beat so much.
You can just kind of let it come.
I do come, but sometimes if it's like I'm making an album, and I'm like, well, this is one of my favorite beats, and I do want to rap over it, I will actually be like, all right, and I'll just put the beat on in my car and listen to it. But I'm a very big believer in my creative process to not forcing stuff. Even when it's like I have to write a verse on the spot, like sometimes they'll be on tour and like make a little extra money, somebody will want to buy a verse or whatever, and so we'll have to write a verse on the spot, sometimes really fast, like 15 minutes. And to me but it's the same thing. It's like I just have to open a portal. I don't try. I think trying is the worst thing that you can do in
I believe
art.
that too. Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah. And some people are different. Like my friend Louis Logic. I love Louis. I love all the music he makes. He's the completely opposite as far as songwriting goes. He's like super like, some people like they make demos, they like re-record parts over and over and over again, and they really like put a lot of thought and effort into the writing process and trying, and that's good. And Lewis makes amazing music. So what I say to explain the way that I do stuff is I'm a little more raw. I'm more punk. Like it's punk to me. Like making music is like I want raw shit. I want like old dirty bastard. Like, that's one of my favorite things about Wu-Tang is like you think about it, like RZA totally cultivated that raw sound. It's just like you hear it, like motherfuckers are blowing out the microphone, popping their P's, like maxing it out. Yeah. And he'll keep those takes, or just like mistakes. Even like Kanye, one of my favorite things about like old Kanye stuff is you can tell he'll screw up a word or something, but he'll just keep it. It's like, I love that about music. Like I find it hard to be excited about music that doesn't have some aspect of that rawness to it.
Yeah, I get bored with art, in music that isn't raw to some degree. I relate to everything you're saying here about this sort of
Cool.
punk and all this other. Yeah, speaking of Kanye, like I the one time I heard him play was in Bonnaroo, and he had already fucked it up a couple years back or the year before. So when we were there, everyone was booing, had all the signs, and fuck you, Kanye. He's one of the main stages, and it was so amazing. Bonnaroo, which was like 80,000 people the year I think we went. He gets back on that stage. First of all, he came out like an hour late. Mm-hmm. Just so you could hate him just a little bit. If you didn't think you could hate him, he got you there. And then he came out, and the set was absolutely incredible. He just turned the entire crowd into his...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was, and I didn't understand it right away, but we were just so blown away. We were talking about it back at our camp, and how that was just so fucking dialed, man. It was like, that was the energy, man. He went in there and...
I love Kanye. I mean,
I do too.
I've always been a Kanye fan. When I first heard Kanye on the radio, I think the thing I didn't like about him is I didn't think he was a very good rapper. I was like, his beats are great, but I don't know if he's that good of a rapper. And it's crazy to think that I actually thought that at one point in time, because I love everything he does. I love his production and his rhymes, I love his audaciousness.
Yeah.
And he's raw. He's a raw-ass motherfucker, He's like loose as hell,
Unapologetically.
And I know people that have like worked with him. And actually, the people that the guy that I recorded my second album with, Hit Factory, worked on Late Registration and like the second and third Kanye albums, or maybe it was the third and fourth. He worked in the studio with him, and he was like, it is raw like that. Like, he might come in with an MP3 version of a beat, that he had, like, that he lost the stems for or something, and like might just come in and start rapping over an 808, and that's it, and like then build everything off of that, So, or at least that's what I heard. Apologies, Kanye, if this is all hearsay.
Well, so are you actively? Are you writing music, or are you just kind of taking? Okay.
No, I'm totally working on an album right now. I'm working on the sequel to Coolzey and the Hip Hop Parts.
Oh,
I'm working on volume 2.
Nice.
The first one was he's the DJ, I'm the rapper, and I collaborated with 12 different producers on 12 different beats. Now I'm working on the opposite. I'm the DJ, they're the rapper. Yeah, I'm going to do 12 songs. It's going to be, sometimes there's going to be more than one MC on a song.
Wow.
But it's, I'm really excited about it because I really love making beats. So,
whoever's listening, where do they find you?
Well, I mean, if you go to coolzey.net, COOLZEY.net, that's like my main website, and all it is links to everything. It's like links to wherever you go, Spotify.
Cool.
Whatever you like. You're
gonna see the premiere of the short film. How did they find that again?
Twitch.tv/Fake4Inc. FAKEFOURINC. It's Fake 4 Incorporated.
Sweet.
Twitch.tv.
And we'll try and link that stuff in the description again. But
cool.
I can't wait to see that.
Can you flash it like over me right now?
I bet I can.
So you can watch it right here. This coming Friday, tomorrow maybe, June 26th.
I'm gonna be there. Zach, so good to have you on the show.
Hell,
I think we did it, man.
Fun. Yeah,
I hope you come back again if you've got other stuff in the works down the road.
Back again.
Guess who's back? Thanks. It was
really
fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is super cool. We haven't had this much fun yet.
Namaste.